Hi everybody. I'm gonna find you and pin you to the top on Facebook, so hopefully it makes it easier to find later. Hi Susan. There it is. I was kind of worried. I'm like, maybe I went live in the wrong group. Hi Donna. Hi Robin. Good morning everybody. Turn down the volume. Hi Linda. Hi Julie. Nice to see you guys today. It's about time. Oh, be quiet. I was 2 minutes late. She's just messing with me. She better be. We had is like a confluence of things today, which I had to switch from tomorrow to today because we have a back to school drive-by tomorrow. And then right before I was getting ready to start, somebody came to do something to the lawn, and it was just has thrown me for a loop today. But anyway, hope everybody's well today. Hi Kathy. Hi Sherry. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Sherry, you know, now that I'm looking at this, I feel like I sent you an invitation because you're in my downline and I can't find you. So I don't know if you got it or not. I'm going to have to go back and check on here. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to make something. I made a little bit of one ahead of time, but I didn't fully go through with decorating it. So we're going to make a little box. And after the fact, I thought you could probably also put a handle on it. So we'll put a handle on it. I didn't really do anything to this one. I just kind of started it. But I did make this side a little bit different. And I used the detailed trio punch just to put these little holes in it. So that's kind of up to you. You don't have to do that. But what I did was I made a box, and this uses the largest scallop stitched rectangle. Boy, that's a mouthful. From, oh my gosh, where is it? It's right here, right? It's so sentimental. See, I told you it would happen. I'm just waiting to watch it happen. There it goes. On the replay, because it's delayed. I knew it. Didn't I tell you it was only a matter of time? I don't even have much room to turn. Hold on, I have to find the stamp set now. I'm so glad that is over with because it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. Fame! I'm gonna live forever. There she is. This is what I was looking for. Oh, I told you, Donna. I did. It was inevitable. It was just a matter of time. Now it's done. Hopefully it will never happen again. See, look, people are afraid to go live because they're afraid these kind of things happen. and they do. But you know what? You laugh about it and you move on. I am $500 from the Flex Point Accelerator. Thank you for asking, Donna. Yes, so if you have anything to order, I do still have the host code. I know this will be backwards when I show it on here. I'm done for the rest of the live now. So I'm going to put it down on the bottom. Oh, shoot. Now this is the funny part. I'm going to just for like a 1 second. You know, I always put this onto YouTube when I'm done. But lately I've been trying to edit out the beginning so people don't have to watch, you know, the talking when they don't know what's going on. However, this is gold. So I'm going to have to leave this on. So if you came in late, go back and watch the replay because at least you'll get a good laugh for the day. And you know why? It's because I tried to hook this microphone up under my shirt so I have less wiggle room. So hold on. I'm going to disconnect for 1 second. You're not going to hear anything because otherwise this is going to happen again. Hold up. Oh, Lord. It's like a magic trick with my pulling strings out of my shirt. Oh, Lord. So anyway, we're going to make this project. And we can make it a couple different ways. Yeah, I have to keep it in the video, right? Okay, so my one idea was Or you could make this. I have lots of other things to add in. Okay, try to focus. I have lots of other things to add in. I thought you could decorate this with Beautiful Autumn, with Harvest Hellos. So if anybody has back to school, unlike me, I'm sure other people have gone back to school, you could give this as like a little teacher gift. I thought you could also decorate it if you wanted to decorate the front with swirly frames, maybe in case you don't necessarily have the rectangles. Now you can't hear me. Ooh, the volume is low. All right, let me try this. It's weird. Hold on. You know why? I should just start over. It's because I didn't put the microphone back. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Tell me if you can hear me now. It was at my feet, so you can't really hear me when the microphone's at my feet. I give it 1 second. Maybe I should just go back. I need to do my mic check, check, check. I should just turn this off, and we'll just, this is one of the videos where I always wanted to pretend like you can't hear me. Good Lord. I'm sorry. It's a day. I don't know what to say, but we're good. So anyway, we're going to go and we're going to get started on making this. So I have a couple different things. This one I did with black and Bumblebee. Any other colors that anybody would want to do? We could do Sahara Sand and maybe Cherry Cobbler for something like back to school. We could, giggles, I know, right? We could do like fall colors for this basket. So it's pretty simple. And one other thing I want to tell you is I use the biggest one. If you want to make this a little bit smaller, what you could do is, because you can see inside there, the sides of the box, you could always trim it down if you wanted to use one of the smaller rectangles, because there's lots of them in here if you remember. We have lots of rectangles. These go along, if you buy this together as a bundle, you do save 10%. And then you have these cute ones as well, which have lots of nice sentiments in them. So kind of dependent. So it kind of feels like a Monday, doesn't it? Kelly, you might have to go back out and back in again if you still can't hear me. If everybody else can hear me at this point, sometimes it's weird with Facebook, and I apologize. It's kind of out of my control if it's a Facebook thing. But try going out and coming back in and see if that helps. So, without further delay, and hopefully no other incidents, I'm going to take you down to the bottom. So I'm going to flip you around. Hi, Adrian. Boy, Adrian, you missed some action this morning. All right, so there you are in the holder. And let me move this stuff out of the way, hopefully without knocking anything else down. And let me move this over so I can see you. Oh, Lord. In the words of Bart Simpson, right? Ay caramba. Okay. So I have here, let me move a couple of these things over. I have my little notes, so I make sure I measure correctly. I made this last night. You know, guys, I don't usually do these ahead of time because I like to kind of do them live with you all. However, when I'm making a box or something like this, I want to do it ahead of time to make sure, because one time I didn't, and that was just a complete disaster. You are going to need some tear and tape or some other sort of heavy duty adhesive. Oh, girl, you missed it, Adrian. You're going to have to go back and watch the beginning, because all I'm going to say is what I thought would happen, happened. So I'm going to try some Sahara Sand. We'll do for the base. And then maybe we could do, how about, I want to say shaded spruce, but I think I'm going to do garden green for our box layers. And then we can make it with I'm going to need a little teeny piece here for that. Maybe we can make it with a nice cherry cobbler apple. Nah, we'll do real red. We'll do a real red apple. And you could even do a pumpkin. So I'm just going to give you like a couple ideas of how you could decorate this. So we'll make a box and then we will go from there to actually decorate the box. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making, and I will make one with a handle. I didn't put a handle on this because sometimes I feel like if you put a handle, it might limit what you want inside. So just remember that if you want to omit that part, you can. So what we're going to do to start is keep out this piece of bumblebee. We're going to cut. So our base layer, or our base box, I should say, needs to be 5.5 by 7.5. Okay, so you can use one piece of cardstock for two pieces. So you can make 2 box bases out of that. I'm just going to pop this real quick so I can make sure I'm at 7.5. I probably could have done this ahead of time, but I don't want to do too much stuff ahead of time because then I feel like sometimes you guys don't get to see all of what goes into it, because I do try to do my videos so they are unedited, as you could see from earlier. And then I'm going to get out my Simply Scored, and we're going to, oops, so sorry about that. That's a hazard of this microphone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to score this at, on the 5.5 inch side. Doodle-doo-doo-doo, where is what I'm looking for? On the 5.5 inch side at 1 inch on both sides. Daggone it. Where is my other? You know why? I have that put away. That's why. I was wondering why I couldn't find that. Good morning, everyone. If you're joining me late, thank you so much for joining. So 5.5 inch side, we're going to score it at 1. And you could go to the other side, but I like to rotate it because it makes sure that it's even in case you cut something off just slightly, okay? So then we're going to go to the 7.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 2 3/4 and 4 3/4. And then we're going to do just a little score. So if you can see here, I'll fold this so you can see. We have the parts, or basically the pieces of our box here. So we're going to make a little score just to this score line, and then just on this side to the score line. So we're going to do it at 1 7/8, and we're scoring just down to the score mark here. And then 4 and, is that right? 1 7/8 and 4 6/8. That's not right. 5 6/8 it must be. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 5 6/8, not 4. I gotta fix this real quick so I don't. I'll put these up later so you don't have to worry about writing it down. 5 6/8. We're gonna turn it around again. So once again, it's gonna be 1 7/8 and 5 6/8. I feel like I did this one wrong. Is that 5 6? Yeah. 5 6 7. Nope, that's right. 5 6 7. Okay, that's it. So this is it for the base. So then we're going to just crease all these on those major score lines. I'm going to move this out of the way for a moment. And if you wanted to, you could go through with your trimmer and you could cut these parts off, but I usually just do it with my scissors because it's a little bit easier. So we're going to fold on all the score lines, just like that. And then we're going to do a little bit of trimming. So I typically will go in with my tinier scissors only because they kind of work a little bit better to get in the small grooves. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim up to the score line here. And one other thing I want you to remember when you're doing this, we're going to cover this up. So if you make any boo-boos and you have like an extra score mark, you can't see it because it's behind these panels. So don't worry about that. So we're going to cut this here. So I created this box. Now I'm not saying that I probably never saw somebody do something like this, but I did think of this idea and do the measurements all on my own, which is why I did it last night. And we're going to remove this piece here. So what I did was I cut up to the score line on all of these, okay? And then we're going to cut, and I'm going to cut on the score line to remove it. Cut on the score line. And I should say I missed one little spot. You want to cut all the way down to this score line here, so you create a tab. Cut all the way down. And then we're going to just miter cut these here, like so. Same thing again, so you can see starting to come together. So we're going to remove this whole piece here. I'm going to cut on the score line there, and same thing here. And then I'm going to just fold this down and miter cut. The person's outside aerating, so I'm sure that's probably a little bit loud. So of course he's in the back when this is going on, but that's okay, right? That's life. That's what you have to do. Okay, so I'm going to put tear and tape or some other strong adhesive. I'm just going to use tear and tape on all 4 tabs. And one other thing I'm going to show you before I actually put this together, and I'm going to use a little bit bigger piece and then a little bit smaller piece. But if you wanted to, and you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could even round the corners up here if you decided you were going to cut this out, because it did, you can see a little bit back there, it did reduce it slightly. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. You don't have to. If for some reason maybe you don't have the these stitched the So Sentimental dies, which I think they're called Sentimental something else. I don't think they're called So Sentimental. Oh, got to the end of that. Wow, that's the first time I've used the end of one of those in a while. So you could use those, or if you have rectangles, you could always round the corner if you want them to look prettier. I think that one came with a paper pumpkin, that tear and tape. Okay, so if you wanted to, right now would be when, if you wanted to round these, and I'm just going to round you just to show you. You put this in and then you just pop it. So just want to make sure you get it all the way up to the corner. So then you could round these if you felt like it. Again, it's not really necessary, but something you could do if you wanted to. So then what you're going to do is just take off your release paper from your tear and tape. And I usually like to take all 4 tabs off and then just adhere them all at once. Oops, that one didn't go down enough. Hold on. There we go. And okay, so then you're going to take these. Now, if you have any issue with putting these in where you feel like maybe you might get them stuck in the wrong spot, you can always put a little bit of liquid glue on top because it kind of gives you the maneuverability. But basically, you're just going to put this in here, just like so. Just put them in. I kind of press them lightly just to make sure it's still square. And then when I'm finished and I'm happy with it, I just use my bone folder just to really push them in. Okay, and then you have your little box. So now, if for some reason you wanted to make a handle, right, now is the time when you want to put it on, because when you put these little things on, it will cover it up. So you could do one of 2 things. You can either kind of take your bone folder and just roll it through. You can even do it with your fingers, quite honestly. It's not like it needs a bone folder, but you could put this in just like so, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to adhere that. So I'm going to do it, since I didn't do it on the first one, just to make something a little bit different. Now, also kind of keep in mind, however long this strip is, this was just the piece we cut off of here, is how big your handle is going to be. So if you want a taller handle to be able to fit something bigger underneath of in your basket. So for example, if you were to put, I'll just say like an ink pad in, but if you were going to put it this way, you want to make sure that your thing is going to be tall enough to fit it in there. So if you wanted to, you could always make it larger. So I'm just going to put, I have a piece of tear and tape on each side. And then I'm going to put this, I'm going to put mine kind of close to the top. That way I have a lot of clearance room, and I'm kind of just eyeballing it. You probably could measure if you wanted to, but you guys know I'm not very big into that. So just like so, I'll just kind of put it like that. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder again and just press them together. All right, so we have that. So we have our little basket. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. So I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way so I can bring my die cutting machine in. And they are going to be good news for anyone who is waiting to order this as a customer. They're going to be putting out the magnetic plate also on September 1st. So that's pretty cool. So when you are able to buy your new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you are also going to be able to get the magnetic plate if you want it. So that's pretty nice. So I'm just going to take my largest stitched scallop rectangle, and I'm kind of trying to just put it as close as I can, and I'm going to put it on here. And I'm going to pop my other plate on. So we're going to want to do 2 of these. Okay, so 1 and 1 more. So were you guys able to catch the, any of you able to catch the Fast to Fabulous card series I did on Friday? Did you guys like that? I did it with the whiskey. I was kind of torn. I had another one I was going to use, but I think it turned out super, super well. I really was happy with the way those cards turned out, and we used the Memories and More card pack, which was pretty cool. So we have 2 of these. So we have these 2. So what I'm going to do, just to add a little bit something extra to this one, so it's kind of not super plain, is I'm wondering if this one is small enough. Let me see. Nice part about these when you have the dies are you can see what fits. And I think Yamalicious can go in something a little bit smaller. I'm going to die cut. Nah, that might be too much. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if it's going to be too much. Because we could also even do oh, let's do this. We'll do For You. So we're going to die cut the For You. I'm going to just die cut this from a little scrap of Whisper White. That way we can add this to it. So I'm just going to put this on, and then we'll stamp it. Hopefully I will be able to stamp it straight so we don't have to worry about getting another one. But have you guys been enjoying those Fast to Fabulous? I got to tell you, my other half is the one that came up with the name for it because I was struggling, because I know a lot of people do like Simple to Stunning, or you know, like some sort of a beginning to an end thing. So it's not my idea. So thankful for input. Okay, so we're going to move this for now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our punch. So this could be an apple or a pumpkin, and we're going to punch out our apple. And then I'm going to take a little piece here, and I'm going to punch out my leaf, just like so. And I didn't grab a piece of brown, so maybe we're going to have a stemless one on this one. We're going to move this over. And if you want to, because I did bring this, we can always add a little bit of stamping to this just to give it a little bit more of a realistic feel. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch one more of these. Oh, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch it out of white. Okay, so we're going to do this. And we're going to stamp the half of our slice. We're going to stamp this onto the outline of the apple, and we'll do this. And then we have this here. I also want to add, Welcome Back won't fit. We'll just do For You. We'll stick with that one. It'll be easier. We'll do For You on this little part here. Now, here is where I was saying if you wanted to add something else, so if you wanted to make this look a little bit more, I don't want to say special because I'm not trying to use this term because it's already special as it is, but you could even add, and I'm pretty sure it will fit on here, the swirly. It'll be kind of just barely on there. You could even do the lines, but you could add the swirly frames to this if you wanted to, just to give a little bit of something. You could add the dotted line. This one has dotted lines to it as well. You could add on there just to add like something else to it. So I think we'll do something like that just to add just a little bit more with our stamping. So I'm going to do that part first. And I'm looking for my long stamp. Sorry about the banging. I'm sure that's even louder now that I'm wearing a microphone. What we're going to do is that way it's straight. That's why I did it that way. So we're going to do this in, we'll just do it in Memento, just to give it like a little bit something darker. So hopefully this is going to look okay. We'll see. Haven't done this one before. So I'm just going to line it up. And for the heck of it, we'll just do it on both sides. A little crooked, but that's okay. Homemade, right? Homemade's not perfect. So then I'm also going to do, I'm going to do this with my apple slice while I have it here. We'll just do some Memento. And then we just have to trim off just this one little part. I'll set that aside for it to dry. We will do the round of the apple in, I'm going to do it in Mary Merlot, just so it's a little bit darker. And you can absolutely do this the other way first, where you're stamping it and then punching it if you feel like you're having trouble lining it up. Now I know that almost looks blackish because it's so dark with the Mary Merlot, but I kind of wanted something with an outline. And the other thing you can do is just to soften those edges, you could take your blender pen and you can kind of work over that line when your ink is still wet. So you kind of have to do this a little bit fast and just kind of soften that line just a little bit. Not a whole lot. It's not really doing a huge amount to it. So we also have our little leaf here. We'll do this. And I'll do that in shaded spruce. And again, we did this on garden green. Okay, there's that. That turned out cute. And one other thing I forgot was the For You. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick with, I'll just pull out the Mary Merlot just for something different. I don't think I use this color very often, so we'll do Mary Merlot. And we'll just put For You, just like that. Okay, and then we'll put the rest of this together, which is fairly easy. I'm going to trim this out. So I'm going to take this like that. I'm going to just trim this just a little bit closer. Okay. So what you want to do with this is you want to add some color to it, even to the white part, because you don't want it to just be stark white, or it kind of, part of it will look flat. So I'm going to grab my, I believe this is, nope, that's real red. I'm going to grab my, yeah, I'll do real red. My real red Stampin' Blends. Is that both of them? Yep. I'll start with the light. I probably should have used the bullet tip, but I'll start with the light. Bring in the dark, and I kind of just want to add a little bit of shading, not a whole lot. And I'm going to go back in again. Now I'm going to use my brush tip because I feel like I get a little bit better blending, and I'm just going to go with the light again and just kind of blend out that color. Then I'm going to bring ivory, and I'm going to do ivory for the kind of middle part of the apple here, because you know sometimes when you have it around that seed you get a little bit of color. And then is this my light crumb cake? I'm just going to bring just a little bit of light crumb cake to the edge. There's that. I'm just going to reblend with my ivory. And then I'm going to bring in the dark soft suede for my seed. Now, one other thing. So you could kind of leave this as it is, but if you really want it to look like an apple, to have just a little bit of more to the white, I'm going to take my light, oh, I didn't want this light balmy blue. I think this was a little bit too light. Let me just test. Nah, this will work. I'm going to take my light balmy blue. I'm just going to add just a little bit, just to a couple little spots here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back, and which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to use light Seaside Spray. Yep, light Seaside Spray, and I'm just going to just gently blend. I kind of just want it to shade. The only reason I'm adding that is so it doesn't look just flat white. Then I'm going to take my color lifter and I'm just going to go right over the edge, just lightly. Anywhere I've added it, just lightly. Okay, so there's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to here, kind of just like so. So just for a little bit of something. It's not really making it to look like the apple, but just for like a little something cute extra to it. There you go. Then we have our, we'll put this on with a, oops, glue dot. Put our stem on. I'm going to put this back here, like so. And then we will add this. So here is my best tip for adding this on, okay? When you have your box, you could do one of two things. So you could make it so this is completely in front, and I'm going to show you from behind. So it kind of shadows the whole thing, but you may end up with a lopsided box if one is up and one is down. So what I decided is I just put it so it was flush with the bottom. So the bottom of the box was actually the bottom of the box. And I hope that does make sense. Let me move these things over. I just want to show you. So what I did is I took liquid glue only because it was easiest. I put liquid glue just a little bit on the center and I put this down. And then I took my box and I sat it on there. Whoops. I sat it on there. I picked it up to make sure this was flush with the bottom. And then I kind of just eyeballed to make sure it looked even for the most part. So kind of like that. And then you can press. So same thing again. I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Flip it over. Just kind of setting it gently. Making sure this lines up with the bottom. Because you want them both to be even. That's the thing. So making sure this lines up with the bottom. Making sure they both look even for the most part, and you can pretty much see the shadow go through there. So there is that. Now if you wanted it to be a little something extra on the side, you could cut maybe a little piece of green, but I kind of was just going for something that was a simple thing to create. It really isn't a lot of effort with this because you're really basically just using technically 2 pieces of cardstock. You could decorate the front of this with DSP instead if you wanted to. So again, just a very simple craft. That's all we're going for with this. I just want to straighten that out just a little. And then I'm going to put this on with glue. You could do dimensionals if you wanted to, but since I put them on there, I skipped. So I'll put this on with glue. And then if you wanted to, here's the thing. You could even add this just as it is, would be perfectly fine. If you felt like it, you could also use, if you have a hole punch. I happen to have, and I got this after the fact, long after the fact, because I didn't know this was a thing, from Amazon. This is a crocodile, so you can punch holes. There is a smaller hole and a bigger hole, and you can kind of see depending on how far you want to put it. So you can also close, I believe, brads on here as well. So that's a bigger hole. I'm going to go a little bit smaller hole. So I'm going to put a little hole punch in here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take Stampin' Up! Did used to carry this a long time ago. If you have Stampin' Up's version, it's black. But again, you can still get that one on Amazon. And then I'm going to take a little bit, and I just ordered a new roll of this. This is the braided linen trim. And I'm just going to put this through and tie this on. So I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to do both of these through. You kind of do whatever way you want to do it. You don't have to do it this way. Oh, come on. Now you're going to make me look like a fool. Push it through. Come on, Rach. You can do it. Push it through. And I like to do this sometimes just because it makes it a little bit easier instead of attempting to knot it. And you're just going to pull. So you make a little faux loop. And then you could just tie this around the back. Tie this around the side. I probably should have made this just a teeny bit longer, but I'm just going to do same thing again if I can get it to work. I should have definitely made this longer than I did it. See if I can get it to work. I tell you what, I am on fire today. This must have been just not my day to be live. Should have taken a vacation day, right? I'm going to tie it really tight and then I can loosen it. So, note to self being you guys, give yourself more slack. You can always trim it. It's always funny because I'll watch demonstrators. I'm like, gosh, so much ribbon. However, when you need to allot to tie something, you kind of need a little bit more ribbon. Same thing with this. You could make this little handle a little bit skinnier if you wanted to. So, just like that. So there is something that at least you could always add this even with a glue dot if you want to tie it down. You could use a different ribbon altogether. We have a lot of even these, which is really pretty. This one goes with the Argyle wide ribbon. You could use something like this because it's really thin too. So lots of different choices for that depending on what you want to do. Let me put this somewhere so it doesn't fall. So there's one. And while I'm at it, I'm going to finish the rest of this one. Even though this one doesn't have a handle on it, I'm going to just finish it up. So very cute. But yeah, and you could put treats in it. There's lots of stuff. I think I have a few things here. And let's see if I can get these in without knocking them down. These are my, nope, look at that. I got rid of them. I was going to say I had some expired treats in here. But apparently, I guess I must have chucked them so no one accidentally ate them, but you could definitely fit a good amount of stuff in here. I mean, this is, so here, just to go just show you, here is two, for getting an idea of how big it is. So those are two of those. I think these are just a teeny bit bigger. Could fit two of these in here. So this definitely does have a good amount of space of stuff that you can fit in it. So we'll do this one. So this one is kind of more like back to school. So how about we do this one a little bit more like fall? So what we can do is we could do something with this with the pumpkin instead. So let me wipe this off. And for this one, we will actually do it with the blends. Okay, so I'm going to keep that. Get our memento. Get our other little scrap piece. Okay, we're going to let that have time. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I don't want the pumpkin. Sometimes. We'll try this again. This might have a line in it, but we're going to make it work. Because you actually, if you're doing the pumpkin, you kind of want the pumpkin stamp, Rach. There we go. That'll be fine. We'll make that one work. And you can always add your little leaf here. And when you have your stem, you can do these two different directions. So obviously, if you were doing your apple, you would put it skinny at the top for your apple. If you're doing your pumpkin, you're going to flip it upside down. So it was thoughtful that they planned those out, that you could do them either way. You could even add a little face to it if you wanted to. Lots of different fun stuff for that. Just giving this just a moment to dry. Also, this one's really cute too, because if you wanted to, you could decorate. You could have added like pumpkin seeds to the base of this running along the bottom, which would have been a cute idea as well. So Might have to do another one after the fact with that one. So I'm going to take my, and I'm just going to color this while I have it here. I have my pumpkin pie blends, and I'm going to also bring in my mango blends. And I'm going to start with the light mango. And I'm going to just kind of make the center a little bit lighter and maybe like one side. And then I'm going to bring in just a little bit of the darker on one side. So again, this was dark Mango Melody. I started with light. And this is Cajun Craze. That is not the one I wanted. This is Pumpkin Pie here. I was wondering why it looks so off. So now we have light pumpkin pie. So I'm just going to bring this in, kind of fill this around. And you could experiment and make the white pumpkins with this if you wanted to, or the pumpkins that are splotchy. I know we have all different kinds of pumpkins nowadays, which is really cool. So I'm just going to kind of follow the crease line with my dark, just to add a little bit of color in. And I'm also going to put a little bit more dark down here at the bottom. And it's kind of cool because the way when you do your blends this way, it kind of gives you that modelly look that if you actually look at a real pumpkin, that is really how it is. It's not just solid orange unless you have a really crazy pumpkin. Okay, so there, I just went back over that again with light. So you can see when you look at that, it really gives you the appearance of a pumpkin. So I'm going to put my paper in here. Knew I'd have to cut some of it off. And I'm just going to line this up the best I can and punch. The rest of this goes into recycle. So there's our little pumpkin. Now, if you wanted to, you could also do some sort of a little leaf. So if you want to do that, what we could do is we could stamp a little leaf on a little scrap. And I'll just do the same thing. I'm going to make this one a little bit darker though. We'll do shaded spruce. And then instead of using markers, I'm going to grab my blend and I'm just going to blend the color in from the center here. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to take, where is it? My Mossy Meadow. I'm just grabbing my marker because it's easier. I'm going to pick up a little bit of color off of the marker for my blend. Kind of just add in a little bit on the center, just to give a little bit darker spot. Now, one thing I do want to tell you, when you're working with blends, when you're working with the blender pen, if you overwork your paper, sometimes it can make it just a little bit bally. So try to kind of keep that in mind. I know that might be a little bit of a hard thing to remember, but try not to overwork your paper when you're working with the blender pen. The Stampin' blends don't do that, so you could always stick with those if you're fearing that you may end up with a little bit of a texture to your paper. So I'm going to just do a little quick trim out of this. And again, I know a lot of people aren't into fussy cutting, and I totally understand that. Just a personal preference. If not, you could always punch out the leaf and just use the leaf with it instead. Then we have this. We'll just add that to that. And then I think I'm going to add one more little thing. Maybe for this one we will do Welcome Back. And, oh, I'm very sorry about that. We'll do Welcome Back. And I'm going to do this in terracotta. And I'm just going to trim this out. Down here at the bottom. There we go. You could always add as well some little like ribbon as an accent to this. You could add embellishments. Let's see what I can do with this. I'm just trying to make sure I give this time to dry, that I don't touch it. Keep that part straight. Straighten this out just a teeny bit. Now make a really, really tiny flag with this one. There we go. So really, really tiny, which I know some people are like, whoa, that's so small. I get it. You can adjust it though. You don't have to do it as small. So let me move this over. So then we'll just add all this little stuff to this. Now I'm going to add this on with dimensionals. I'm going to do 4 just to change this up a little bit. And now if I would have done this ahead of time, this would have been a good idea. You could have, and I don't think I could do it now or else I would do it, just because with these little seeds, they technically also could be pumpkin seeds. So if you wanted to, I'm going to try it. I don't know how well it's going to go, but I'm going to show you that way. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work for me, you can always do yours before you attach it. But again, I did make mine last night. I'm going to use cinnamon cider just to give them a little bit of a darker shade. And I'm going to hold and kind of try to do this the best I can. So then you can kind of add like the seeds to the bottom, which actually I'm kind of surprising. That worked out pretty well. I'm surprised, I should say. I'm not surprising. I don't know. I could be surprising. I know I'm goofy, that's for sure, right? So you could use either side. Again, this side I did the little decorative punch, but just was kind of just for showing. So we'll add this pumpkin here. We have our little leaf, which I'm going to add on with, they were just here a second ago, my mini glue dot. This is the last one. And then we'll just put welcome back straight across here. And I'm going to do that just with a little teeny bit of liquid glue. There we go. So, fun, simple, aside from all the hilarity that ensued when I knocked the camera over in the beginning. This was a pretty simple project. Oops, there's a hair. Let me pull that off before it gets stuck in there. That's nothing better than sending your kid to school with a piece of your DNA, right? But these are cute. You could do them with or without the handle. So many different ways you could do these projects as well. So this one was using kind of a combination of Harvest Hellos, but we did also use the dies from So Sentimental. Again, if you get this and the dies together, you do save 10% if you buy them as a bundle, which is really cool. And I'm 90% sure this bundle carried over. Now that I think about it, I should check, but I'm pretty sure that it did. Harvest Hellos also has this punch that goes with it, so you could use it for the apple or for the pumpkin. And then there's lots of other things you can do. We did swirly frames. We just used these little stitching to add that to the bottom, which I do think looks cute. You could add some little bit extra decorative something with the framed for you. This would be beautiful to do as more of a fall or even kind of just like a green project with tasteful touches. You could use the DSP, the In Good Taste DSP that goes along with this and make a beautiful project. If you wanted to make this more Halloween-y, you could do the trick or treat or the pumpkin and add them with that essential tag, which would be really cute. Another couple fun things in case maybe you want to add a great sentiment to it and you want to cheer somebody's day up, because the way it's going, we all need some cheering up. So you could just cut this out, and I think these go really, really well too with this. That's why I got these out. But the sentimental dies, you could do You've Got This or You Got This. You could do Make Today Ridiculously Awesome. It does fit in there. You Are My Sunshine fits in there. Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. All those fit into these dies. So sometimes you kind of just have to play around with the dies to see what you can get to fit. So remember, there's always different things that you can do. And last but not least, another one that would be really nice to do is Beautiful Autumn. Now this one does have a coordinating set of punches. I believe it's 3. It's the acorn, the acorn, the maple leaf, and the pine leaf. Actually, might be 4. So they probably have this. I think this is oak and maple. I didn't get the punches when I got this. I should have, but I didn't. But this will be a really pretty one to decorate your card with as well. And that way you could kind of make a little fall something. It doesn't have to be big. And my goodness, you could put like a little container of hand sanitizer in here, like a mini one, if you could find them, I suppose. I think hand sanitizer is pretty much back in stock now. Or you could put like a little pack of tissues, or you could put a little mini from the store for your teacher. That's what I plan on doing. I'm going to give them some miniatures because let me tell you, I feel for them much more than I ever have, but I love the teachers. I really, really appreciate them. I think they do such a great job with our children that I want to make sure that I give them just a little something. And we also still have cello bags that you could put this in. So if you felt like you wanted to make this and then wrap it up, that way you could give it to them and they could open it without feeling like it was, I don't want to say contaminated because I don't mean that, but you know, just to kind of contain your gift. If you end up making something that sticks out higher, you could also put it in a cello bag. So I thank you guys so very much for joining me today. I apologize, I was a few minutes late. I also had a crazy beginning, so I hope you guys, if you didn't get the beginning, you go back and watch it because, you know, I am always here for entertainment purposes, if for nothing else. I will put the measurements to create these boxes on my blog later today. If you're new to my channel, you can follow me here on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, do please make sure that you press the subscribe button and you turn on the bell, which is over on this side when you look there. And that way, if I make a new video or if I go live, you will be notified. You can also follow me at Rachthestamper.com. That's where all of my blog posts land with measurements and whatnot. The other day I did post a new project from the Rainbow Stamper, and he wanted you to know that he appreciated all of your comments. He really enjoyed making the card. If you haven't caught it yet, it was with the Game 1 stamp set. And I got to tell you, that little guy surprises me all the time because he thinks of ideas for cards that would never cross my mind. So if you haven't caught that, it was a really cute video, and it was a really neat way to make a background that I'm kind of a little jealous that I didn't think of first. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. If you'd like to get anything in my online store, you can use this code through the end of the week. I truly appreciate your support. I am really, really trying to hit the Flex Point Accelerator because it is going to be changing. So this is probably my last chance to get it. So if you could offer me any support in my online store, I would truly appreciate it. You can find me at rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, Nancy, you're so nice. I appreciate it. I'm fun. I do try to be fun, if nothing else. Thank you for the hearts and for the sharing and everything else. I really appreciate it. If there is a chance I can get on one other day this week or weekend, I will absolutely do my best. But we have back to school drive-by, my niece's birthday party, so it kind of just depends on what's going on. But I really want to try to get on again. But if not, make sure you look for me on Friday on YouTube. I will post another Fast to Fabulous video. If there's a stamp set that you would like to see featured on that, please feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message or an email. My email is always available as well, rachthestamper@gmail.com. I'm always looking for ideas, and I'm trying to make 4 cards that have the same products, maybe like adding 1 or 2 things differently. But that way it gives you 4 ideas with all the same stuff that you can just bang out if you're really looking for cards in a hurry. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Oh, Rhonda, I hope your day goes fast. Thank you for all that you guys are doing. Hope you have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll talk to you again real soon.